Good day po, everyone, and of course to our professor, Dr. Joy Villion. This is my assigned topic, the elements of supervision and professional learning. I am Mr. Arvin A. Buliare po, um, one of the reporters along with my two co-reporters. So for supervision, it is a vital process and educational leadership encompassing instructional guidance, teachers' development, and learner-centered management. So it aims to align our teaching practices with educational standards and policy reforms. So for this session, our objective for this session is that by the end of this session, participants will be able to 1. Explain the core elements of effective supervision and their evolution in the educational system. 2. Analyze the role of differentiated professional development in improving teachers' performance. 3. Apply strategies for informal supervision and walk through aligned with our DepEd RPMS, former RPMS, now PMS, and PPST framework. Number 4, relate the principles of learning to the DepEd Learning Action Cell system that we have in DepEd. 5, develop insights on how school leaders can collaborative and reflective supervision with the school. So these objectives serves as both academic and operational purposes. So they addresses the theoretical roots of supervision while translating them into actionable practices in our school settings. So let us start with the topic that the changing landscape of supervision. So according to Tears, uh, supervision should be shifted from compliance-based to collaborative-based supervision. And according to Hewson 2013, it focuses on teachers' teams instead of isolated observation. So there are laws in the United States that support the changing landscape of supervision. This is the No Child Left Behind Act of 2001 and Every Student Succeed Act of 2015. So modern supervision emphasizes shared responsibility among teachers. So instead of being evaluative, it fosters professional dialogue, mentorship, and data-driven improvement. So here in our context in the Philippines, we have what we call DepEd PPST-PMES framework, which mirrors the shape of supervision into teachers' empowerment. So like what I have said, the Department of Education proposed uh, a manual or a guidelines for teachers that is the PPST-PMES or the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers and Performance and Management and Evaluation System. So the DepEd introduces a multi-year performance management and evaluation system that is for school year 2025-2026, school year 26-27, school year 27-28. So in this PMES, in DepEd, we have 4 phases. It is divided into 4 phases. The first part is the planning and commitment. The second part is the monitoring and coaching. The third part is the review and evaluation. And the last part of the cycle is the rewarding and development. So these cycles the Department of Education emphasizes on the continuous supervision, coaching, and reflection. So it institutionalized a longer term view of supervision, which we as a school leader track the progress of our teachers across the 3 school years. So those are the context of supervision in the Department of Education. So what are the core elements of supervision? So the effective supervision involves the following elements. The first one is the student, the second one is the classroom climate, and the third one is the information resources. So as a school leaders, we translate it into one, addressing the learner's diversity and needs, that is the student. Two, providing resources. And two is about classroom climate. It talks about on ensuring positive classroom discipline. And the three is the providing resources through learning resource center or different competency-based teaching resources and materials. So those are the elements of supervision. So how are we going to understand educational change? So educational reforms requires strong change management by the school leaders. And of course, our educational system evolves from time to time. So leaders need to be adaptive to the changing needs and have a strong change management. So leaders must develop collaborative capacity, which involves shared vision of teachers, parents, learners, and the school community. And in the Department of Education, in the context in our department, it is reflected in our school improvement plan or the continuous improvement plan in our school, which processes that required a collaborative effort between internal and external stakeholders through monitoring and evaluation. So that is the educational change happen in the Department of Education. So of course, we offer different professional development to teachers. So according to the given files by our professor, the references that I got in the given file, Glatthorn 1986 proposed that differentiated supervision, emphasizing that the supervision should vary according to teacher readiness, experience, and competence. So it broadens the traditional clinical supervision model into a developmental continuum. So in depth ed, it moves beyond one-size-fits-all supervision, wherein we adapt support to teachers' readiness, experience, and needs. So we included in the individual performance commitment and review form, uh, the DepEd mirrors this through the IPCRF we have in DepEd, the individual development plan we have, and those plans in the school-based learning action cells, which is aligned or anchored to the identified needs of our teachers. And of course, we school leaders, along with our master teachers, provide technical assistance through mentoring and coaching program. So it includes the staff development, the informal observation, the feedback mechanism, and then the crafting and updating of our individual development plan of teachers, of master teachers, and also our as school heads. So those are the professional development we have in the Department of Education. So according to Darling Hammond 2017, uh, professional learning defined as a sustained and job-embedded, collaborative, data-driven, and aligned with the school goals. So in uh in our practices in schools, professional learning, the teachers undergo two kind of professional learning. The first one is the formal, and the second one is the informal. So our teachers attended in-service training, workshop, seminars, training that is facilitated by our division of Quezon or the NAIAP. Those are the formal professional learning, while the informal professional learning considered as those uh, being conducted in our school, like mentoring, peer coaching, our school learning action cell sessions. So those are the professional learnings happen in our school. So what do you mean by conversion about teaching? According to Buchman, 1985, learning grows from respectful professional dialogue. So it encourages sharing classroom realities, sharing classroom experiences or best practices, and reflective thinking. And in our school, in our uh, school activities, this happened during the LAC sessions, wherein uh, we provided a structured venue where the teachers share their experiences, co-create solutions, and align practices with the DepEd standards. So let us emphasize that supervision, for us school leaders, supervision is not just an observation. It is a conversation, a two-way communication between school leaders or expert or master teachers and the teachers. So this is not just a mere observation. This is a conversation. So uh one activity that we conducted, uh, school leader or master teacher, is the what we call informal supervision or the walkthrough supervision. So what is walkthrough supervision? Walkthrough supervision, it is a short and announced classroom visit. So the teachers are not aware when their school head will enter the room just to observe their teaching and learning. So this is a short meaning to say it ranges from 5 minutes to 15 minutes. And of course, this is not non-rated or non-evaluative visit. The main purpose of this is to coach, not to evaluate the teacher's performance during the teaching and learning. So it answers the questions. According to Pitler and Goodwin, it answers the questions: are the strategies of the teachers research-based? Are their groupings effective? Is there an ICT integration in the teaching? Do the students know the learning goals or the expected objective? Are the teachers asked higher order thinking skills that activate the critical thinking of the student? Or does this practices supports data? So those are the questions, guided questions in informal supervision. So this informal supervision is not new in the Department of Education, because like what I have said a while ago, this uh, walkthrough observation is included in our PMS or the Performance Management and Evaluation System. So this is included in the phase 2, which is the monitoring and coaching. So under the department memorandum, DepEd Memorandum 89 series of 2025, which is the main purpose is to give real-time insight into teaching and learning processes, and promote a growth-oriented feedback culture to teachers. So this is the DepEd Memo number 89, series of 2025 in the Department of Education, entitled Guidelines on the Multi-Year Performance Management and Evaluation System for Teachers for the 3 consecutive school year. So as a school leader and as a master teacher, we are required to conduct regular coaching, mentoring, and technical assistance. And one way on providing TA is to conduct a frequent short period and walkthrough observation. According to this issuance, it provides continuous support to teachers in enhancing their effectiveness in instruction and to address the gaps identified during the full period classroom observation. In the in NPMES, we also conducted 2 full period classroom observation, which is contrary to this informal supervision that those full period classroom observation are rated or the teachers are being evaluated. Unlike this short period or walkthrough observation, this is a non-rated. This is for formative and development approach. So, what is the primary purpose of informal supervision in DepEd? The primary goals of this observation is to provide constructive feedback, identify areas for growth, and support the professional development of our dear teachers. So these are the teachers are expected or encouraged to collaborate with their colleagues, co-teachers, or their mentors, or the master teacher or the school leader during the observation to foster a shared learning and support. So after the walkthrough observation, school head or the master teacher will conduct a debriefing session, a brief debriefing session to discuss the findings, to give the strength and weaknesses of the teachers, and to outline the ways forward or the action plan that is needed to support for the improvement of the teaching performance of the teachers. And all of this, all of the the observation gathered by the master teacher of the or the school leader should be included in the PMCF or the performance monitoring and coaching form. So this is the template we use in DepEd to track the progress of our teachers who undergo supervision and who undergo mentoring and coaching. So this is included in the PMS Phase 2, the mentoring and coaching, which talks about the regular monitoring and provision of technical assistance on practices that support the teaching and learning processes. So, so this, the supervision in the DepEd is using, we use the cycle, the PMS cycle for teachers under the DepEd Memo number 89 series of 2025 in relation to the supervision, in relation to the topic, to my topic about supervision. We have 4 phases. The phase 1 is the planning and commitment. So it includes the crafting of the development plan of teachers based on their self-assessment tools or their previous performance. What are their strengths and what are the weaknesses of the teachers that need to improve during the whole school year through LAC sessions or other professional development program. And the phase 2 is the monitoring and coaching. So it includes the coaching and the walkthrough observations. Walkthrough observation that is basis for providing technical assistance. And the phase 3 is the review and evaluation. Phase 4 is the rewarding and development planning. So work through reinforce instructional leadership and relationship-based supervision. Teachers value feedback when it is specific, positive, and connected to their professional goals. So what are the implications of supervisory practices of school leader or a master teacher, since master teacher are required to provide or to do instructional supervision also, like the school head. So effective supervision must foster teachers' empowerment and collaboration. And in the DepEd, it is aligned with the PPST or the Philippine Professional Standard for Teachers, or the Performance Management and Evaluation System under the DepEd Memo 89 Series of 2025. So effective supervision also must be a data-driven and reflective based on the data. And it promotes shared accountability and learner-centered outcome. It is a shared responsibility, not only for the part of the school leader or the master teacher. It is also a responsibility of the teacher itself for us to provide a learner-centered outcome, since learner-centered outcomes is the primary goal of our educational system in the Philippines. So our mission as DepEd leader is to create a professional culture where teachers thrive. Supervision is not a control mechanism. It is a system for sustaining teachers' excellence and student success. So these are my references for my presentations. And remember that effective supervision is not about checking compliance. It is about cultivating a community where teachers and students learn, lead, and live one another toward excellence. Thank you for listening. Again, this is Mr. Arvin A. Villare. Thank you so much po and goodbye.